What are you unsure about? We'll clarify some of this in a moment. Have a look at this. The Ten of Wands, right? Overburdened with commitments and responsibilities. There's a lot on your plate here. And, it's always our choice. And I know everyone always gets their kind of knickers in a twist when I say that. It is our choice. Now, we might be choosing to take on that burden so we don't have to choose homelessness, but it's still a choice. So it's a struggle. Let's just own that. It's a struggle when the Ten of Wands comes up. Look at this poor horse. I don't think it's the guy that, we are when this card shows up. It's the bloody horse with everything on his back and he's trying to climb up that slope. So it feels that way. So this is about dropping a burden. This is about why you left holding all the burdens. So sometimes this can be we have to delegate, get other people to take responsibility for what they are. But I don't even feel like for the majority of you, that's not your message with the Ten of Wands. What changes it is the fact that the King of Wands comes up with this. Why is it hard work being the King of Wands at the moment? Now, who is the King of Wands? Because that's what the burden is. The burden is this, is the King of Wands. And yeah, some of you might be dealing with someone who has the qualities or the characteristics of the King of Wands. I don't believe the signs own the cards. They just lend their characteristics. I don't usually do the sign thing. But it's that very fiery energy. But when it comes up as an underlying energy, it's usually us. It's not anyone else, but it's general. So people can be central to our story, in which case this is to help you gain a deeper understanding of that. But the King of Wands is someone who acts on his passions. He's confident. He takes action. He goes for it. And I feel like some of you've been doing that. That's very positive, right? The King of Wands. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to take action on this. I'm going to make this happen. What inspires me, I'm going to act on that. And it's not been easy. It's not been easy. So that's going to think about that energy. For some of you, you know what you want to do. You're inspired. You want to take action. But it's like, how can I when I'm carrying all that crap with me, right? Got it. For others of you, the act of actually being this King of Wands is the burden. It's that, if you're getting, I don't know, very attractive, a lot of advances coming at you, or at work, you're the star, the employee of the month now and all the rest of it. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So there's something around that. That's the theme that's coming up as the underlying energy. But there's massive shifts and changes happening within that. The King of Wands and Wands in general, they're about the action that we take. And they should be, and I don't even like the word should, but, based on our inspiration, passions. What inspires us? What do I want to do? What do I want to create? What can I go out and build with this and make with this, right? It's the energy that we put out into the world. But it's draining you. This is almost the introvert who's been doing extroverted things and now needs time to go and get their energies back. But I love that you did it. Why? Because something changed in the act of doing this. And it might be, if you follow tarot, like if you've been following readers and you've been hearing people say, oh, well, go do it. Go for your dream or take the steps or give it your best shot. And some of you have been doing that. In the act of doing it, that's why I always believe it's very good to go for the things that we desire. Try to make them happen. Because following that breadcrumb trail, following those steps, we're going to find that we don't actually might not want to do that. Or, it's not as fun as we thought it would be. Getting all that attention is not as fun as we thought it would be. King of Wands is very much in the limelight. He's the guy in the spotlight. He's the actor. He's the one that all the attention is on. But it's getting to be a little bit too much. Now, if it's not work in relationships, right? It's almost like being the wonderful, amazing self that you are with the King of Wands coming up. It's become too much now. Something has shifted. Something has changed. How do I know that? Because of death. This is the card of transformation. This is the card of change. This is rebirth. That's the whole point of death. When this shows up in a reading, especially central like that, where everything revolves around this, there's some old aspect of you, maybe some old passion, maybe an older version of yourself. This can be a death of self. So we're reborn into something new, right? And that's changed. It's changed. So it's about allowing this new, whatever it is, to come in. Whatever that new version of yourself, whatever the rebirth of the situation, it's never the same again. It doesn't matter if you're in the same situation. But something now needs to be dropped. And the whole point of the Ten of Wands is that cycle runs from the Ace to the 10. And we started it off with the ace, where we were excited and enthusiastic and we want to do this and I'm going to create this. And by this point, you've done it for so long, it's like, oh God, I'm so done with this. Now, why has this happened? Because of the Page of Cups. Because of the Page of Cups. Now, the pages are always the very beginnings of energies. It's where the full potential of that energy hasn't been reached. And this is that budding emotion. This is the inner child. This is that I want this. And, you know, it's you crave it at an emotional level, a deep level. It's what the 5-year-old within each of us wants when the Page of Cups comes up. Excuse me, Capricorn. And this is a very mature energy, King of Wands. And I like that because, you know, it's talking about doing things, acting on things, confidence. But this is still where we're vulnerable. This is where we're soft. This is that inner world of us where, you know, self-care, self-love, all of that stuff, our deepest needs and wants at a very core level. And that's what's changed things. Like, this was all fun and games when it started, but it's become too much. And for some of you, it's not as rewarding. It's not as rewarding. Or it's time to kick it up a notch. That could be what's coming up here. Well, we're going to kick things up a notch. That's what Death would say as well. It's remove those things that no longer serve us. This is almost like, you know, if you've got a house and you've done really well and you've bought all these new things and you've bought new furniture, new TVs, new computers, new gadgets for your kitchen, all of that kind of stuff. Now, at some point, you need to throw out some of the old crap. Like, how are you going to have room for new things? How are you going to have room for you to shine even brighter with that coming up? And that's what I feel with this. But the answer to that comes from what you feel. Now, there is something that you love here. There is something that you want emotionally. But you look at the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles coming up is the sanctuary that you built. It's that safe space. It's you've done all the work. This is, again, confidence. Very strong, confident energy coming in. On the surface, I'm sure, Capricorn, if people are looking at you right now, you're looking good. You're looking good as that King of Wands. But they don't see what's behind that. They don't see the shit you've had to carry to get up there. I often have people say this to me, and I've said it in a live. Somebody said in a live once, and I get messages all the time. They say, how have you got so much wisdom? Or how are you so wise? Or how do you know all this stuff? And I'm like, I crawled through a lot of shit. And I feel like a lot of you Capricorns are feeling that too. It's like they see this and they're like, oh, Capricorn, you get it so easy. And they're like, you don't know how much crap I've had to carry to get here. And that's the kind of energy that's coming up. But the fact is that you did and you're here. Is it time to look at what this was? That deep desire. And the Nine of Pentacles is that person who they've had mastery. It's asking you to enjoy. And there's not enjoyment if you're still carrying that. Enjoy the attention that you're getting. Enjoy who you are. Recognize your own attractiveness. And I don't just mean that physically beautiful. It's in the fact, it's also in the fact, I can't even talk. It's also the fact of, you know, attracting what you want to yourself. But what's the point of having all that if you can't use it how you want to? So the Nine of Pentacles says, enjoy what you've done. Enjoy what you've achieved. Whether you are living in a studio flat, whether you have a mansion, it's not about that. It's the fact that you built it yourself. You made it yourself. And it was mastery over some aspect of yourself that got you here. Now, as much as it says enjoy it, and that I think is key here, are you enjoying this attention or what you're doing? It also says you can stay safe here, but, you know, this can become the gilded cage. This is when we stay in a situation for the money, for the security, for whatever it is. And the Nine of Pentacles says, all right, enjoy that, but there's a whole world to explore outside of this safe space that you've created. You now have the confidence. You now have the skills. You have all of it to expand on that, to expand on it. When I get this kind of energy, if this 10 of Wands wasn't here, this would be amazing. It's like you've become someone, but I would still say go global. If you're a star in your hometown, then this is about going global, going bigger, going like national. It's that kind of energy. But this is here. So there's some aspect of this which has become a burden, which is not welcome. And that's about removing that. So when you do that, and you might start thinking, well, how do I expand this? Because this is the big fish in a small pond. It's time to go bigger, right? Temperance comes in. And it's interesting that it comes up right underneath death, because if you have a look at the numbers, death is number 13. Number 13. You know, death has rolled through town. There's been transformation. There's been change. There have been people, things, situations that have been removed from our lives. And yet, with Temperance coming up, it's number 14, the card that comes in afterwards. This is saying, okay, well, let's take stock of what's left now. What do you want to do with what's left? What is it that is now time to go for? And that's what it feels like. It feels like, you know, this might be the sense. All right, I'll give you an example. So some of you might have been in a really shitty job, but you needed it. You needed it because you had to pay the bills, right? So you've been saying for the longest time, yeah, you know, when I get to that level, when I get that promotion, or when I've saved up this amount of money, then I'm going to start that business. Then I will go and look for something else. Right now, I need the security of this job, right? Guess what? You've got that security now. If it's a relationship, or, you know, you've been single, enjoying yourself, going out there, dating people, looking at what inspires you, where your passions are, well, guess what? You're in a good place now. And that's kind of like the hardest part, is that when we've set ourselves a deadline or a limit of when I do this, and death is saying, well, hang on, that situation's changed. What are we doing? So Temperance saying, take stock. What's holding you back? Because the card that comes after Temperance is the Devil, number 15. So by taking stock, by looking at how much time am I spending with my family, with my friends, am I romantically fulfilled? You know, all of this stuff. And there's no right or wrong answer, because you might look at your family and say, well, they're good. They don't really need me right now. It's good. Or, you know, romance. I don't really want to date anyone. Come out of a relationship. I'm good. Like, at least do that assessment. That's what it's asking you to do with Temperance. But have a look at Temperance. I don't know if it's it is the case here. So you can see there's water coming out of one. There's fire coming out of the other. The water represents our emotions and intuition. The fire represents our passion and action. And it's saying you need both to create this new situation, to go forward, to enhance our experience of our life. We need to have both to be emotionally fulfilled. And some of you shelved that inner child for a little while you did what you had to do. It's gotten you to a great place. But is it time to relook at that? What was your feeling there? The reason I'm saying that is we have the moon coming up. The moon coming up. I actually really like your reading, Capricorn, because, and you know, saying this to earth signs, I have an earth moon, so I'm not putting down earth signs whatsoever. I love earth energy. That's how we truly build, right? But it's that thing of, well, what do I want to create out of this? And earth signs can sometimes be, well, I have this around me now. I can bank on it. I know what's in front of me right now. If I can see it, if I can feel it, if I can touch it, that's what's real. The passion, the ideas and all of that, I don't know if that's real. Or why would I risk what I have to go and chase a dream? Yeah, it might feel good, but I don't really need to pursue that. That doesn't serve you, because we have the moon coming up. And the moon is looking at, well, is that true? Is that really what your motivation is, to stay in this safe place? Or is it because you're afraid of what will come? Because the moon asks you to walk this path on faith. Can you walk this path on faith? Yes, there are shadows ahead. But, you know, the only way you're going to know what's in the shadows, your fears and doubts, they'll tell you that if I say how I feel, I'll get rejected. If I follow what I love, it might not be as prosperous or, you know, as profitable as what I'm doing right now. There's all these kind of doubts that come in. But the moon is a card of illumination. It encourages you to look at the stories that you're coming up, about the shadows that could come up on your path. Yes, you don't have the whole picture just yet, but only more of it will be revealed as you go forward and you trust your intuition. The moon is a card of intuition. It's less focused on the surroundings, more on the inside, on your dreams, on your feelings. And that little voice of fear is always going to pipe up. It will give you a million reasons of why you shouldn't do it. All you need is one good reason why you should. And you already have that. You already have that. And so when you walk forward, the only way you'll know what's in the shadows is if there's something threatening there, there's something to deal with, is by shining a light in it. You're the bloody light. No one shines brighter than the King of Wands. Don't tell the Queen of Wands I said that. But yeah, no one shines brighter than him. He takes his light out there. He shines bright. It kind of, if you guys are you know, especially if this is for a work reading for you guys, it feels like you have a certain kind of recognition or certain skills now that you didn't have before. And you can take them somewhere else. You don't need to do so much of the legwork. King of Wands is very similar to the Emperor. He's the boss energy. And for some of you, if this is a boss that's putting more and more work on you, it's almost like, I'm the better I do, the more work they put on me. Like, how the hell is that a reward? So it's very much looking at your experience, no matter what it looks like on paper. Unless it fulfills you from a heart space, it doesn't count. Then it's time to move forward. Keep walking your path, right? No matter how much or how little you feel you have right now, more is available. And the point is that you have the confidence now to go for it. But these are the fears. Well, what if, right? There's always going to be the what ifs. Wow, Four of Swords. All right, so I also want to say this. You got 2 pages. And if you think about it, you got the head page and the heart page. Cups are emotions. That's logic and information and communication. But that's kind of less mature or less experienced energy than this. So this you can do. This you can do in your sleep, King of Wands. Taking action, being confident, acting on passion, that kind of thing. But that, I feel like that's more surface level. This is going to be something deeper. This is going to be, something that it requires communication. And it might be with the Four of Swords. Oh gosh, this is kind of strange because the Four of Swords is a break, a temporary break that we take. And it might be to understand what you need to understand. For some of you, you haven't been, someone that you haven't talked to, an old colleague, your partner. Have you not expressed stuff to your partner for a while? This is that where we put our swords down. We don't fight anymore. There's no communication here. But it's to allow the dust to settle. It's like everyone go back to your corners while we figure out what's going on here. Now you have an inkling of what's going on, but that's why the moon's coming up, because there is confusion. We haven't fully explored the feelings. We haven't fully explored the thoughts or the ideas or the information. And this is a card of healing. Now, I feel like you have gone through some healing, and we're all healing always. If you don't want to use the word healing, you've gone through working through like some issues, some triggers, whatever it was. Some, views of yourself, ideas of yourself. You're sitting pretty on that now. But let's take that baby out for a ride, right? Let's take this fabulous person out for a ride and go explore feelings now and thoughts and ideas and communicate. And I've been saying this a lot to people. If you've had a reading with me last few weeks, because you've heard me say this to you, which is that last part of healing, it happens now as we go forward. As we go forward. We all took that fall off a horse. We all had to heal broken bones and stuff at an energetic level, right? Emotionally or mentally. And you did the healing. But you'll know you're fully healed and ready to get back in the fight when you can get back on that horse. That's when you know. Otherwise, it's this. Like, you're at a safe place now. But to get your 10 of Cups, it requires this coming back out there. It's talking about things, exploring, getting more information. And I feel like it's expression, because with the Page of Cups, they're messengers, right? Expression of at least what you want, what you feel, what you think. Let's get you some oracle cards. So there might be 2 different sets of you that need this. We'll see if they work together. Let's see what comes out. Dear you, there is a balance between I can't even talk. Dear you, there is a balance. I was trying to read balance and activity at the same time. There is a balance between activity and rest, ebb and flow. You can't have one without the other. If you are faced with an obstacle right now, the best course is surrender and non-resistance. Soon enough, you'll see how easy it is to flow around it. Now is one of those times when you must trust the river of your life. Go with the flow, and in no time you'll reach what you have your heart and hopes set on. 10 of Cups. Just remember, spirit will keep your head above water and will direct the currents. When it's time for a greater effort, you'll know exactly when you'll need to work those manifesting muscles. It can be challenging to master the flow cycles of your life, but as you develop your skills, affluence will be yours. Enjoy the flow and trust those currents, for we're right there with you with our little umbrella drinks, smiling at your success. Love you so very much. And that's this. Now, the flow, people say go with the flow, and a lot of people don't like that. But think about it. You pick the stream. You jump into that stream, and then you let it take you where it's going. And especially if you don't know what to do right now, then don't try to force a change, right? But I kind of see great progression here. But are you taking on too much? That kind of, make hay while the sun shines. But, let's see what this one says. Dear you, there is only one you, and you have a unique place in the universe. Sometimes situations come up that challenge you to be authentic And that means you have to be fully yourself and let go of being what you think others may want. Now is not the time to conform to other people's standards or expectations. Be proud of who you are and be courageous. Excuse me. And be courageous. Stand tall in your convictions. Being yourself is a powerful statement and will only lead you to success and ultimately happiness. Don't compare yourself to other people. Want what you have. Choose what your heart wants. And know that your purpose is yours alone. No one else can claim your magic nor take it away. When you place authenticity and originality high on your list of priorities and give them a prominent place in your awareness, extraordinary things happen. Your life is a beautiful one. Love you always and forever. So I do get the sense that for some of you, you've kind of got into this place of where you might be playing a role and you just don't want to play it anymore. But there is a new life coming in. But don't you want it to be the life that you truly want? And I kind of feel the direction towards that. It's kind of moonlit. It's not sunlit at the moment. It's moonlit. But that's why you got the Page of Swords, which is, you know, start speaking your truth. When pages come up, it's because it's new to us. We're not experienced in that. You're experienced at this, whatever you've been doing. But you don't want to be the big fish in a small pond. It's time to come out of that. It's almost like you've taken a break from the feeling and the whatever this was. And it's time to come back to that so you can go back to that dream. You've gotten yourself to a good place of confidence of who you are. You're great at this. You can get this done. That's given you the confidence. So when the moon card asks you, do you have the faith? Can you walk this path in faith? It's not faith in the path. It's not faith in what will come up. It's faith in your ability to get it done. And you've shown that you can do that.